and welcome to my July TBR. As always, you know how these videos go. I talk about all the books I want to read and then I come back with my wrap up and I haven't read half of them and I've switched out a load of them and this is how it goes. But last month I managed to stick to almost all of my June releases, with the exception of one that's carried over to this month because I pre-ordered it on audiobook and it came on the 28th of June. I wasn't gonna like drop everything and read it before the end of June because I was reading other June releases from my June TBR at that point. So let's, as always, break it down into July releases and other books I want to get to, and then at the end of this video I'm going to show you in a sort of lightning additional round library books that I have out of the library that I may also read this month. So yeah, if you want to watch the library book bit you can go right to the end of the video. Yeah, if not you can stop before you get to the end of the video because there's this whole stack of library books. They're like there staring at me right now. Yes, so gonna try as much as possible and read physical books this month because I'm not loving my Kindle right now. It's not making me happy. It's not bringing me joy the way real books and audiobooks are bringing me joy. So there's going to be a lot of physical books, but I have a couple of July releases that I still need to read on my Kindle, so we're going to have a couple of Kindle reads. The first of these is released on the 5th of July on ebook and the 26th of July in paperback and I believe probably hopefully audiobook, and that is One in a Million by Lindsey Kelk. Thankfully, because of the time difference, because my Kindle's still set to UK, it will land on the 4th of July at 5 PM for me, so you know I'm going to be reading that as soon as it hits my Kindle. Very excited for this one. I have it pre-ordered. It's all ready to go. I'll be refreshing my Kindle at 5 PM on the 4th of July. Then I also still need to read Watching You by Lisa. If you're wondering why I haven't got to this yet, because it's been on my last 2 TBRs, it's just because I know I want to have like a day to sit and read it properly, because that's how I've done at least the last 2 Lisa Jewell novels, and I think it's definitely affected my enjoyment of the book because I could sit there and let the tension build, and I just haven't had a day like that where I've got the full day to do that. So that is what I'm going to do with Watching You, which is out on the 12th of July in the UK. Then the only other one that I have on my Kindle left to read is The Secrets of Primrose Square by Claudia Carroll. I have a copy from NetGalley. It's out on July the 26th. However, the last 2 Claudia Carroll novels that I've read, I've ordered on audiobook and listened to on audiobook, and the narrator's done a really good job. So I may pre-order this one on audiobook if it's available and listen to it on audiobook instead, or I may switch between the audiobook and the Kindle. Okay, that one is out on the 26th of July in the UK as well. As always, unless otherwise stated, release dates are UK release dates. So another July release that I have and have already read is Make or Break by Bennetto. This one is already out in the UK on ebook and comes out in paperback and on audiobook on the 12th of July. And then a book of poetry and prose that I talked about in my June wrap up, so make sure you watch that one. It will be linked above. And that is She Must Be Mad by Charley Cox, which is a combination of poetry and prose on love and on the mind, which is very relevant to today's society. That is also out on the 12th of July in the UK. Then I have some physical proofs, thankfully, because I'm, really into just reading the books. I have The Rest of Me by Casey Marsh, which you may remember me hauling back in April. My lovely friend Serena gave me. This one comes out in paperback on the 12th of July, even though it is already out in the UK on ebook. So you can already read this one, but I have a kind of paperback release date in mind for this one, so I'll be reading this one at some point in July. And then the lovely Laura, I will link her blog below sent me her proof copy of this novel because she knew I was a massive fan of this author, and it was on my June TBR, but I didn't get round to it. This one comes out on the 12th of July in the UK in hardback and ebook, and I believe audiobook as well, and that is When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Fletcher. Even though this is a proof, it's still got these beautiful foil things, and her books always have clues to the story in the cover art, and it's just rather glorious. And you can see her other books, which I have read and reviewed, in there as well. So looking forward to reading that one. Then another 12th of July release, I was sent a proof copy of this one, which my mum very kindly forwarded on to me in a little parcel that she sent me recently, and that is Why Mummy Swears by Gail Sims. This one comes out on the 12th of July and is the follow-up to Why Mummy Drinks. This proof says, now you know why Mummy drinks. Find out why Mummy swears. So this one was sent to me. I shared a picture of this on Instagram because they also sent a like little money box swear jar thing with it, which obviously I didn't get sent because it was going to end up getting broken crossing the Atlantic somewhere. So I also have Why Mummy Drinks on my other books I want to read TBR for this month, so I'll be reading that on audiobook before picking this up in its physical proof form. So look out on my blog for a review of that one coming around release date. And as I say, my Instagram's linked below. I already shared a picture of this with the swear jar, and the first book, Why Mummy Drinks, is also on my TBR. Then finally, thankfully, another physical proof that I have a copy of While I Was Sleeping by Dani Atkins, which the lovely people at Simon & Schuster UK sent across to me. This one comes out on the 26th of July in the UK. I love Dani Atkins. You've heard me talk about her other novels on here, and I am actually quoted in this proof because I love her other novels. It's like not coming up. I'm quoted down the bottom there. You can see me just there. Because yes, I love her novels, and even though they are all chunky, substantial reads, this one is like 1,000,000 pages. No, 500 and oh, there's an epilogue. Love an epilogue. 540 pages. Even though they are chunky novels, you absolutely fly through them because she has you like gasping and crying at every turn because she really puts her characters through the ringer. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one at some point before release date in July, so look out on my blog for a review of this one. Then we have the other books I want to get to. As I say, I'm focusing on physical books and audiobooks, especially in this section. Last week I went to an event with Cynthia Hand, Brodi, Ashton and Jodi Meadows and got a copy of My Plain Jane, which is their second combo novel, and I got this copy signed to me. They all signed it and annotated it. It's got these lovely deckled edges, which I don't think I've read anything with these recently. Like I have a couple of them on my shelf, but I don't think I've read them. And I have downloaded the audiobook for My Lady Jane, which was the first book in that they wrote together. I'm just seeing if there's a picture of it here. I don't think there is. I have a vlog of that evening, which was so hilarious, coming up next week on my channel, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. And I'll be reading this one and My Lady Jane this month because they made it sound so amazing I couldn't not read it. Then I've already mentioned Why Mummy Drinks, which I have on audiobook as well. Then other physical books I have, oh yeah, How to Be Famous by Moran. I downloaded on the 28th of June because I had an audiobook pre-order in for that one, so it was on my June TBR, but those last couple of days in June I wasn't going to give it the attention it deserved, so that is probably going to be my next audiobook listen. I do not have a physical copy of that one, but I'm excited because it's the follow-up of How to Be a Girl by Moran, and so she's kind of in her journalism zone now, and we're going to find out what happens next. Then I have a book that I bought whilst in Canada because it's a combination of the US like cover and title and the UK paperbackness, and that is When Life Gives You Lululemons by Lauren Weisberger, and this one is called The Wives in the UK. It is already out, but I love the fact that this was a paperback edition and it was a really good offer. I got this in Indigo in Montreal. It was a really good offer, not gonna lie. It's probably cheaper than the UK paperback, which was very exciting. So I will be reading this one this month because I've been excited to get to it, and there's been other releases in the way and I really want to read another physical copy, and it looks like it's going to be quite a quick read. Everyone who's talked to me about this one has said it's amazing and that I will love it, so excited to read it. And I prefer the US and, well, the North American title rather than the UK title. I'm not sure why it's been changed in this case. Sometimes I can see why they've been changed, sometimes I can't in this case, but hey. Then a couple of physical copies that I got at BookCon, one of which was given to me by the lovely Bethany. I will link her channel, and it is another book with the deckled edges, and that is Campaign Widows by Aimee Agresti. And I downloaded the audio of this one last month from the library, but then I let it expire. I didn't have time to listen to it, so I've downloaded it again so that I can choose between the physical copy and the audio copy, or even switch between the two. One of the reasons is that the font in this one is really quite small, and I struggle if I'm reading kind of late at night or anything like that to read the smaller font. But I really like this physical copy, and Bethany gave me a copy of this one, so that's exciting. And then a book that I got at an event at BookCon that 3 separate people have recommended to me and told me that I will love. I got my copy signed by the author. All my pages are sticking together today. Signed by the author, and that is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guilory, because her follow-up to this novel, The Proposal, is coming out August, September. It's coming out in the next 3 months. I think I mentioned it in my BookCon book haul, so go check that out if you want to know when that one's coming out. And this one matches the lipstick as well. So yeah, so I'm hoping to read that one this month, because again, so many people have recommended it to me and told me that I will love it, and so yeah, why not? Okay, so I'm now going to talk about library books. So if you don't want to hear about all the library books that I have checked out of the library that I really want to read, that realistically I'm not going to read all of them this month, but I will try my best to, then you can carry on. If not, thank you very much for watching, and remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. I will have a book haul coming up for you in my next video in 2 days time, so make sure you're subscribed to see that one. If you're staying, let's check out the library books. Okay, I'm going to go through these very quickly. I'm not going to talk a lot about them. Most of these I either saw on the shelf or have seen on Instagram, and that's where I've got my desire to read them from. So I have Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian, but I saw on Instagram and also lots of videos on here, and I have the audiobook of this one downloaded for the second time from the library, so that means I have to read it this month, right? Then I have You Think It, I'll Say It, which is a collection of short stories. This one is quite a quick one. I'm hoping to be able to kind of dip in and out of this one this month and read the separate short stories. Then I have The Glitch by Elizabeth Cohen. Not gonna lie, this is a total cover desire for, but then I read the synopsis because, as I say, I saw it on Bookstagram, and yeah, want to read this one. This is just a short loan, so if I don't get to read this one, it'll just have to go back and I'll get it another time. Then I have Emergency Contact, which is by Mary Choi, which I saw lots about on Bookstagram. I had the audio of it, I let it expire, so I went and got a physical copy of it. Hopefully going to read this month. That's the end of every sentence. Then I saw this one. This is not a Bookstagram one. I saw Burn Baby Burn by Meg Medina. This is not a new release. I saw it in a bookshop probably in Montreal, let's face it, all the bookshops I talk about are being in Montreal, and I liked the sound of it because it is set during that heat wave and blackout time in New York in 77, and I like things set in that period, and so I got this one out the library, and I have already started it, but I've just realised I was using something as a bookmark that I've taken out of it. But I did start it at the library while I was waiting for one of my volunteer sessions to start, so I started reading it then. So hopefully that means that I will actually read it this month. Then this one I've had at the library a couple of times. I've had the audiobook and I've let it expire, and again it's like different stories, but I've read more of these authors now since getting it out the first time, and that is by Hope Nation, and it's young adult authors sharing personal moments of inspiration. So I'm hoping that maybe if I put this by the bed, I'll read a couple every night, because I really wanted to read it having seen it, and I keep not getting to it and I don't know why. Then these are basically all Bookstagram ones. I have the magnificent Esme Wells, which is by Adrienne Sharp, and this is set in like heydays of Vegas and Hollywood, and just sounds fabulous from that respect. Then I have Alternate Side by Anna Quindlen, which is, if you can't tell by the kind of streets here, is set in New York, Manhattan, I believe. Hadn't checked out the end pages, hadn't checked them out yet. And this one just sounded really good. Again, it's an express loan, so if I don't get to that one within the next couple of weeks, it's not going to happen. Then another one that I saw on Bookstagram that I loved the sound of is Sorority by Genevieve Sly Crane, which is a dark look behind the closed doors of Greek life in universities, so sisterhoods, sororities, and it's quite a quick read. Looking at it, it's quite kind of big font. The person who had it before me either stopped there or flagged that as a page that they wanted to read again, who knows. But yeah, obviously hoping to get to that one. Then I have Social Creature by Tara Isabella Burton, which I'd seen all over social media, and I spoke to a couple of BookTube and Bookstagram friends at BookCon. This was also at BookCon, and they think that I would like this one, so I put it on hold in the library. My hold came, here it is. I want to read it as soon as possible. It sounds really good. Something that was on my TBR last month, non-fiction, The Wonder Down Under, which is all about vaginas and ovaries and uteri, and I want to read it. And then my hold came up on this one. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. Well, I mean, I do, because I read all that I read in June, if you haven't seen my June wrap up, and that is Sex and the City and Us, How 4 Single Women Change the Way We Think, Live and Love. And yes, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm a massive Sex and the City fan, so I was really excited when I saw this book pop up on social media. And it's by the author who wrote Seinfeldia as well, which I have listened to part of, but then my loan expired. So yeah, I just can't wait to get stuck into this one. It has pictures in as well. Let me show you pictures. Where are they? First episode of season 3, I think. Season 1? Season 2. Yeah, first episode of season 2. Love that one. Just, it's gonna be good. Again, I think I want like a time to sit down and read the whole thing, and also to be able to watch the DVDs afterwards, because it's gonna make me want to watch them, isn't it? Obviously. Probably also gonna make me want to go to New York, so there we have. We survived the library book portion of the TBR. I thought I would show you these as well, because I always have a stack of library books that I want to read, and I try and get to as many as possible, but I can't always get to them all. July releases will be a priority, and then yeah, I'm just surrounded by books. I think I have more books than days that there are in July, given the fact that we're on the 1st of July so far. This is when I'm filming this. If you've got any suggestions of how I can fit in all these books in the month of July, let me know in the comments. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed for my book haul, which will be next. Some of these books that you've already seen will be in the book haul because I haven't hauled these books yet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you with my next video, which will be that book haul. Bye.